All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody, to CarnivorousGrama Speaks. My name is Robyn Heron, and I am your Carnivorous Grandma. And I am super excited to be here tonight with Dustin from KetoSimple. Hey, Dustin.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much.
Yes. I have been looking forward to this conversation for quite some time, and I'm very excited. Thank you so much for taking me up on my offer to come and be interviewed on my channel. As you guys know, I this is the channel where we talk all about carnivore, and tonight we're going to talk about keto, which I did keto for like 10 years. We'll talk about that. But one thing I want to mention before we get into Dustin's story is that tonight is my 1,000 day carnivore anniversary. And I can hardly believe it. The time has gone so fast. 1,000 days. Like, unbelievable. Who would have thunk that we would still be doing carnivore after 1,000 days? So I'm very excited about that. And we're celebrating tonight with Dustin. So, Dustin, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Dustin. I have the channel Keto Simple. I am a grandpa, um, a stay-at-home grandpa, doing YouTube, doing all that stuff. Um, I love this community. I'm very active in the community. Try to go to as many lives as I can, be involved with as many channels as I can. I'm a champion of channels. I want everybody to succeed. I think there's enough room for all of us to succeed. So if you have a channel, I'll probably drop by. And I mean, I've been lucky that some channels kind of pop up even if I've never heard of them, and I just stop in and talk to them, and I just try to be involved with as many people as I can.
I appreciate that so much. So, you guys, for anybody that's joining that's got a channel, drop those channels in the chat and let's support each other because, as Dustin's saying, this is like a big tent. We're in a big tent, right? There's so much uh, room for growth out here on YouTube. Telling your story, it is the stories that count. It's the stories that matter, as Dr. Kills always says, the documented stories that matter. So telling your story, there's going to be somebody that resonates with you. And so we want you out there telling it. So drop those channels in the chat. So Dustin's channel is called Keto Simple. And I would love to hear how and why Keto Simple.
Well, I started keto in 2016, so we're coming up on the 10-year mark.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's evolved over the years. It's probably more in the carnivore realm now than it was early on. Because when we started keto, well, I mean, when we started looking at what to do to lose weight, I had over 400 pounds. I was like 420 some pounds, and I was in the process of getting everything set up to have a hernia surgery and getting a CPAP machine and trying to take, just regain control of my health, right?
Hmm.
I'd had the hernia for like 5, 6, 7 years and just didn't take care of it. I mean, I just didn't just let it go. And my sleep apnea got worse as I got heavier and heavier. And so I finally decided I needed to take control of this. And my wife and I were talking because I went to the doctor for one of the appointments and stepped on the scale for the first time in who knows how long. And you see that number on the scale. And I try to talk to people about this because you can know that you have a problem. You can know that you are getting too big. I mean, too big is, but I would started buying 5X t-shirts and 50-inch pants going under the gut. If I would have gone over the gut, I'd probably been 65-inch pants or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was a big guy, and that because there's no way, because you start having to focus in on the stores who carry that size clothing. And it's, you just push it out of your mind. You push it out of your mind. I'll figure this out. I'll figure this out. Something will pop off. It'll be fine, right? And finally, you kind of hit that where that number on that scale just smacks you in the face, and you have no option but to handle it at that point. And so I was talking with the wife, and she's a RN, and
Mm.
she was working on a unit at the time where they dealt with a lot of complications from people who have had weight loss surgery in the past. So people that had been 4 or 5 years into weight loss surgery coming in with new complications from those surgeries. So we talked about not doing surgery just for that fact alone. But we were saying that we weren't going to completely say no. We were just kind of shelving it. We're like, let's try low carb. But together, the two of us had less than any idea what really low carb was, what a carb was. I mean, it seems so strange now to go, I didn't know what a carbohydrate was.
Right.
I didn't know I didn't know how entrenched carbohydrates are in our food system. We just didn't know. And so we went out looking at carbohydrates in the grocery store, probably over the course of maybe 5 to 10 trips, probably scouring the stores, looking at everything that we used to buy, everything that we would buy, everything that we were told was healthy. You know, like you look at raisins, you look at fruit cups, you look at quinoa, you look at brown rice, you look at all these things that are totally ingrained in our society as healthy, and you realize everything has 25, 35, 45 grams of carbohydrates per a tiny little serving.
Right.
And then you just, well, how do we get away from it? And so keto still wasn't really in our vernacular. But I was looking for new recipes, always looking for recipes. And I kept coming across a website that was for children with epilepsy. And it was a ketogenic website at the time. And in 2016, this was very limited in resources. So I was looking at that and I was like, well, what's this keto stuff? And then another one of the doctor visits that I had with my general practitioner, he was, we were going in and we were talking about stuff. And he's like, well, if you want to lose weight, you just got to be in ketosis. And I'm like, what does that mean? But he didn't elaborate. And so me being me, I was like, okay, well, I've seen ketogenic stuff. He said, be in ketosis. What's this mean? And I was really diving into podcasts at the time. So I went and was like, well, there's got to be a podcast out there about keto. And I found 2 keto dudes and they had just started.
Yep. Oh, I love those guys. I was
Richard
so sad
and Carl
when they stopped their podcast.
I had Richard on early on in my channel. I had him on as an interview.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, I love those guys. Richard is amazing. Carl's great. But they were my early influence. I mean, that's how I started to find out about everybody in the keto community. Let me mute my phone here. I forgot about that.
Oh, no problem. I guess I should probably take a look.
Calls.
Make sure I got mine muted too.
So that's how I found out about Jason Fung and Dr. Barry and Amy Berger and all these wonderful people that are pillars and mainstays in our community. So, I mean, that's basically how we decided to start keto, was that. And so we just did it. I had my surgery, got it over with. And then we started doing keto, and we've never really looked back. The only thing that's changed, as I alluded to in the beginning, was keto in the early stages was moderate protein, high fat, because the thought process about the moderate protein was that gluconeogenesis was consumption driven and not demand driven. So you were like, well, we can only eat so much meat because it'll raise our glucose and all this, that, and the other. But then
before you go on, let's make sure that everybody knows what we mean when we say gluconeogenesis, because you're getting into the sciencey stuff, which I love.
Yes, ma'am.
Making sure, because I think that this is a question that people have about protein converting to glucose. So maybe you can just tell us what that means by gluconeogenesis.
So gluconeogenesis is the body's process in turning protein into glucose. So the body can manufacture its own glucose. And in the beginning, as I was saying, we thought the process was consumption driven by, there was a magical amount of meat that you could eat that would spark gluconeogenesis.
Yeah, right.
Versus what we later found, and as the current understanding, as things change, we can't There's no absolutes, especially when we're dealing with all this, because we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And so current understanding would be it is demand driven. So what that means is when the body's glucose stores get low. So if you're being active and you've depleted your glycogen stores, which is like glucagon stored in the muscles and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, right? So if that goes and you've got that and your body, well, okay, well, we got to start pumping out glucose. We need it because the body does utilize glucose, regardless of what we like or what we think.
Yes.
Glucose isn't necessarily poison to the body. It's necessary. It runs our brain, it runs our body, our muscles, but we don't necessarily need to take it in as if the body can manufacture on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we get with that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I think that that is a concern that I hear, from people is that, if I eat too much protein, it's going to turn to sugar. And, I think our problem, and we talk about this all the time, is that our overconsumption problem, too much sugar. Like, we're way, 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 way over the amount of sugar that we can tolerate. And we talk about carbohydrates, which a lot of people, I mean, everybody has heard of carbs now, but do we realize that those carbs actually convert to sugar in the body? And that's what it turns out to be. So, yeah, but your body will make a supply of glucose. But I mean, so many of us are so far from being having our glucose, our glucagon stores gone. We're just far from that, right? We are far away from that. But yeah, in the case that your body should need glucose and we don't have it, it will make it for itself. So the body's amazing. It really, really is. It's pretty incredible. So you found keto and you saw all these amazing people that you just brought up, Jason Fung, Dr. Berry. Of course, I'm doing carnivore because of Dr. Berry and Amy Berger, incredible, incredible folks in the low carb space. So you found keto, and it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, one of the challenges may have been that there just wasn't enough information easily identified. I mean, there weren't that many people talking about it way back in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, the people that were really talking about it back then were the two keto dudes. They had just started like early 2016, maybe late 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Jimmy Moore, which we don't talk about him anymore.
Yeah. But he
I mean,
wrote some good books.
well, he authored a lot of books.
Yeah.
He and Jason Fung had a book together.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of it. A lot of his information is out there. I imagine he still has like thousands and thousands of episodes of podcasts out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how relevant the information would be now.
Yeah. Yeah. But still, he
I
was a
even,
foundational person. Like, for me, I mean, I definitely started out watching him. And the diabetes code with Dr. Jason Fung, all of those were really, really impactful. So I feel bad that we had to cancel him. But
well, he went to prison.
oh, he did. I don't even know
Yeah,
what happened to him.
we don't want
Yeah.
to talk about it. I'll tell you offline.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we
It's
won't talk
really
about that
bad.
today. Oh, okay. No, we don't talk about that. But yeah, there were some people that were out there talking about, but just not that much, not that many. I was gonna say that I have did keto for 10 years before trying carnivore. But I did 5 years of keto and 5 years of Cheeto. So when I say Cheeto, I mean I kept on cheating because I couldn't stay on the wagon. I had too many cravings and stuff. So what kind of challenges have you had over the years with your ketogenic lifestyle?
Well, coming from the size and weight that I was, and not realizing the extent of the food addiction issues that I had or
Mhm.
still have, and they never quite go away. But we went and we purged everything out of our house. We got rid of margarine and flour and all the things that a normal household would have. We got rid of it, much to the chagrin of our two children who lived at the house at the time. They were in middle school and early high school.
Oh my
They were
God.
not thrilled about us doing this.
Yeah.
Our oldest had moved out already, so she was immune. But we get, I mean, they were keto by proxy at home. But if they went out with their friends, or if they went out and did whatever with their dad or whatever, then they could make their own choices. But at home, we made, we were keto, and that's kind of what, at this point, that's kind of one of the biggest challenges that we have now that the kids are living back in our house and they are adults and they have the ability to bring whatever they want into the house. That's a current challenge that we're facing.
Ooh, I hear you.
But I mean, in the beginning, overcoming the cravings was so very difficult. I mean, just walking through the grocery store and how they strategically put stuff at the edge of the aisles and such when you're walking through. I mean, it's all marketing.
Yep.
But I mean, you just walk by and you see the Oreos, and I was like, I mean, and it just got
Yeah.
less and less over time, but it's so strong in the beginning. Whether it's, the things that we would eat all the time. We would eat our normal dinners on a normal evening because we were busy parents working and driving the kids to practice and doing all the things you do. So it was throw frozen pizzas in the oven. It was let's make some macaroni and cheese and some whatever. And then whatever we could make that was easy, fast, in a hurry, because we worked. We were, I was, we were starting, like all this stuff. There was always something going on all the way up to keto, like, whether it was, my mom was in a nursing home and, you're dealing with that. You're trying to get kids to practice. You're trying to get dinner made, groceries done, dishes done. You're just trying to keep the household in order, and just so much stuff that it was just easy. Whether it was, and luckily for us at the time, fast food was cheap. So you could go and you could just roll through. We would roll through Taco Bell and get a $20 bag of burritos and bring them home. And all that changed. And then we were making food, and like there were little bitty weird challenges that arose that we couldn't account for. Like when you make your plate, the plate looked empty. The plate
I
didn't.
know that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you're used to having like a well-balanced plate, and then you put on the meat and a veg or whatever at the time. You're like, where's the rest of it?
Yeah.
Where's the rest? It just felt that it was it's like psychological warfare.
Yeah, it is. We grew up eating 3 things on the plate plus bread, right?
Oh, having the bread and then dessert after every meal. And
Yep. But I needed 3 things on my plate, and I actually just talked about this on my 1,000-day video, was that, I still do like to have 3 things on the plate. They just all 3 are meats, 3 different meats, But yeah, that is challenging mentally. What about social situations? You remember what that was like?
No, it was a difficult, awkward situation at first. We would go, like, we had just started, and I remember we went out for because we started like September of 2016 fully with the actual keto, right? And we went out like for that Christmas. We like that year we went to a wedding. Some friends of ours got married in October, and then we went to a Christmas thing for her work, and we went to Old Spaghetti Factory. So we're like looking at the menu, like, how are we going to make this work?
Right.
You have to go. I mean, you have to go for the work things and work functions. And how do we make this work? How do we do that? And we're like ordering a la carte meatballs and like, it's probably still not the cleanest, but how do we make this work for ourselves and make it not so awkward? Because it is difficult to go to a restaurant and then just not eat. I mean, and I've done it a bunch of times. You just go and order water.
The first time you do it, it's like,
it's embarrassing.
Mind bender, like, and everybody's looking at you like, you're not gonna have nothing. Yeah, that's challenging. That is very, very challenging. The first time you do it, or the first time you're the one at the table that's making this crazy special order, right? You're asking, "Can I order a la carte on your menu?" And they're like, "What do you mean by that?" It's like,
Yeah.
really, it can be really, really, really challenging. But you clearly have been doing it for a very long time, since 2016. So what made you stick with it?
Desperation.
Mm.
I felt that if I didn't, I was going to die. And
Mhm.
it sounds harsh, it sounds dramatic, but it's the truth. I mean, my mom passed away in 2013.
Mhm.
She was 59 years old. Um, she was big my whole life, diabetes, all that stuff. She was on insulin and type 2 diabetes. Then, and then in my mid 20s, she started having strokes and heart attacks, and she was in and out of nursing homes for the last part of her life. And that was that was my path.
Mm.
I was resigned at a point that that's just going to be how it is for me too. That's how I'm going to live. That's just going to be what happened to her is going to happen to me, and there's nothing I can do about it. Because we've all tried diets over the years. We've all done calorie counting and all these things,
Yes.
and none of it really truly seemed to work. Um, Outside of there was a point in my life where I was working at a warehouse, and I was working like a mid shift, and I was intermittent fasting without realizing it because it
Oh, yeah.
wasn't a term. It wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm in my early to mid 20s, and my lunch was at 8 o'clock at night. I wouldn't eat till that lunch, so I
Oh,
started work
okay.
at 4 o'clock.
Mhm.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. I wouldn't eat until I got to work or got to lunch most of the time. So I'd eat my lunch at 8. Then I would get off work around midnight, 1, 2, depending, sometimes 4. Then I would eat when I got home, and then I wouldn't eat again until 8 o'clock at night. So I was like, really, most of the time, it was like in a 8 hour. So it was like 16/8 without
Yeah.
even realizing it. And I remember because when I was thinking back about it after I was fasting with all of this, I was like, I fasted back then. And I remember looking and feeling a lot better about myself.
Mhm.
But that didn't, nobody knew anything about it. But,
Right.
hindsight being 2020.
Right,
But,
yeah.
I mean, sticking to this was a necessity, and my wife's doing it with me. And we saw the impact it had on our kids. They were chunky, and then they thinned out, and they were in sports, and they were playing rugby, and they got real thin, and they were running like miles every day and not being overly tired. And they were teenagers, and they hated us because we wouldn't give them what they wanted.
Right.
I mean, we didn't keep Cheetos and snack foods and pizzas in the house anymore. I mean, I would buy the big box of Costco microwave popcorn for
Mhm.
them. And then we would have carrots in the house sometimes for them or whatever. But it's like, what kind of snacky foods can I keep in the house with teenagers at the time?
Right.
I was like, popcorn is not great, but I mean, they're out there doing sports. So, I mean, it's not that
Mhm.
big of a deal.
Right.
And it just became a lifestyle. So
Mhm.
it wasn't a diet anymore. It was, well, this is what I do. And then I had started an Instagram. YouTube was
Mhm.
still a few years away. Um, the idea of me doing YouTube, I was, still working a full time, an insurance job for a few more years, and it was just I was losing weight. I was feeling
Mm.
better. There was a lot of the benefits that were coming through the mental clarity, um, crazy. My heartburn went away. Just so many things about my life changed. I was excited to do stuff again. We decided to go to Colorado and went hiking, and we had done that prior to me losing weight,
Mhm.
and we went on like a regular old path, and I thought I was going to die.
Oh my gosh.
We were like in Manitoba. Well, I mean,
Amazing.
being in Colorado is hard anyway, just with the
Mm.
breathing. But we went to
Oh,
like
right.
Manitoba. We went to Garden of the Gods, and I were just that like just their little paths. And I'm like,
Oh
it
my
was awesome. So
gosh.
going back and then
Wow.
walking through the mountains and going up into Rocky Mountain National Park, and just
Amazing.
being excited to move and walk, and just
Mhm.
excited to have my life back.
Yes. That life back thing is amazing. You know, the funniest thing about it is, I guess I didn't really realize how much healing you can get out of keto. I knew that you could because I actually reversed my hypertension with keto. Um, my blood pressure started to creep up, and I was having these weird headaches, and I'm like, I should probably check my blood pressure because I knew my dad had blood pressure issues and had been, hypertensive all my life that I can remember. And I had the idea that keto could reverse high blood pressure. Not sure who I heard that from, one of those guys. Um, and I did. I reversed hypertension with keto. But as far as the other healing, I just never really realized how much healing was in the keto in just going ketogenic. Um, and so that's really interesting, the amount of healing that you receive from the ketogenic diet. What kind of foods were you eating on keto?
Oh, in the beginning, it was a lot. In the very beginning, it was a lot of replacements. So we're making keto versions of this and keto versions of that, and wrapping hot dogs in bacon, and I mean things that
Yum.
aren't. I mean, it's really not outside of the realm of what we do now, but everything's a
Mhm.
lot easier and more simple now. But there was a lot of complicated recipes back then. We spent, I don't know how much money on buying all the keto necessities, almond
Yes.
flour and coconut flour and hemp seeds and all the different sweeteners that you can find. But everything was harder to find then. Like
It
finding
was.
almond flour wasn't easy then.
Right. Mhm.
Um, we were a lot of burger, a lot of hamburger, a lot of ground beef, steaks,
Yeah.
um, bacon, a lot of bacon, eggs. So I
Yep.
mean, it's not overly different from now. It's just it's not as complicated now. Everything's more streamlined now.
I completely agree with you on that. And I know that you said that you're leaning more toward, a meat-based way of eating. I was doing the same thing as you. I was making all the different things. I mean, we got Thanksgiving coming up. I had to figure out how to make Thanksgiving dressing because that's my jam. I love it. And so, for a couple of years in there, I played around with different recipes to try to make it. And so I was trying to make all the different replacements for everything. But yeah, I do agree with you that I feel like more meat based is so, so simple. Like I can't even imagine going to the store and buying a bag of almond flour now.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with that? But I was making the cakes and the cookies and the cornbread. Oh my gosh, there was a really, really good recipe for cornbread that I used to make. But we had a lot of different. Do you remember Keto Ginger?
Maybe I know there's been a lot of people that have come and gone, like
Yeah,
Keto
she's not
Connect,
doing
and
keto anymore. But
yeah.
she had a lot of recipes, and I downloaded her book, and I mean just a ton of recipes. But what I thought is that my keto was a high plant-based keto. Meaning that my plate would be, over half full of plant material. So how was yours? Was it the same for you guys?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I before keto, I didn't really even eat vegetables.
Mm.
I mean, I
Mhm.
didn't. I mean, it wasn't until keto that I start liking. I even really try Brussels sprouts or really even give broccoli a chance because I never really liked broccoli. I never knew it because nobody ever cooked it right. I mean, there is a definite right and a wrong way to cook Brussels sprouts and
Yeah,
broccoli.
right. That's true.
And if you cook them well, then they taste amazing and lots of butter and cook them, roast them, or, get them a little crispy. They're amazing and they're great. And we still have those from time to time.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't think if you can tolerate them, there's no problem with that stuff. I don't think there's a big issue with that. Um, I think then, I mean, really comes down to what was affordable for us too. Like what's cheap. Like
Mhm.
meat isn't cheap. Vegetables
Right.
are cheap.
That's
Like
true.
frozen vegetables cheap. Buy bags and bags and bags for $1. I mean, like almost $2 a bag now, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
just what
Agreed.
is cheap? What's cheap? How can you fill your belly with cheap?
Yep.
I mean, that's
That's
been our
true.
our
And
mantra
then,
for a long
getting the seasonal fresh vegetables too, things when they're in season, you can get them for a really good price. So that is true. One of my favorite recipes when I was on keto was called Fat Kid Broccoli. And it had butter and it had sour cream and cream cheese and bacon. It was so, 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 so good. So, but yeah, I do feel like I did a high plant-based keto. And well, for me, come to find out, vegetables really were trying to kill me, actually trying to kill me. And so I can't tolerate them. I think there's only one that I know of that I probably could tolerate, which is cabbage, but I just choose not to eat it today. But yeah, so if you can tolerate vegetables and you enjoy them, I definitely, say maybe something like a low carb or keto diet would be suitable. And like Dustin's saying, you achieved so much healing through your keto way of eating and weight loss. So, how much weight did you lose?
I got down to as low as about, I think, 273 was my lowest.
Okay.
And then the pandemic,
Congratulations.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I was sailing, and then like the pandemic hit, and then we were at home all the time, and still haven't ever left home. So
Hmm.
it's I'm in a place where I've gained weight back, and I'm on my way back down the other way. But um, just trying to find our new normal now. It was easier when I get up and you're gone 12 hours a day.
Yeah. Right.
It's easier when you get up in the morning and you leave the house, and then on your way home you got to run by the grocery store. You got to do this, and you get home, you're gonna cook dinner, and you're always on the move. Versus everything revolves around being at home. It's
Right.
such, and even here we are 6-7 years later, and it's like 6 years I think is where we are now. But that's a long time to just never go anywhere.
I hear
Costco or
you.
to Walmart or
Yeah, right. I totally hear you. I got sent home during the pandemic and I stayed home for 2 years. And when I tried to go back outside, I couldn't. I had so much anxiety. But I'm better now, better than I was. And so yeah, being at home can be challenging. You got to be really intentional about being able to get movement, and and keeping yourself motivated when you're just at home like that. So that's really challenging. All right, so let's say hey to some of these people that are in here. I put the things up on the chat. I want to welcome Charisse to my membership group. So congratulations and welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. So we got Charlie is here. Hey, Charlie. We're so glad that you stopped by.
I love
Darth
Charlie.
Carnivore. Me too. He's the best.
He doesn't live
Kit.
far from me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys can come down together for Impact next year. Come on. Come on. Kitchen Witch 1885. Thank you for being here. We're
Thank you for
so
being here, Tanya.
grateful. Tanya. Okay, Tanya.
Hmm.
Hey, Tanya. We got Papa Carnivore. Hey, Papa Carnivore. Glad that you're here. He mentions that he does not like want brown rice and quinoa. No, we do not. That's not delicious. Sherry Nevada Pup is here. Hey, Sherry. Welcome. So glad that you're here with us tonight. We got Josephine Cowley, 44.
All the way from
Hey.
Australia.
Hey, thank you so much for stopping in. We're glad that you're here. Rick at Charger Mopar is here. Hey, Rick. Thank you for being here. Rick says, I have no idea what's in a grocery store other than meats. I can't say the same, but yeah. Um, yeah, I do try to stay around that edge and just buy my meat and get out. We got John Together Strong. Hey, John. Glad that you're here. We got Bride's Biscuit. Bride's
Fried
Biscuit.
biscuit.
I love it. Thank you for being here. Bill Cook 411 is here. Karen Harrington is here. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hey, Karen, glad that you're here. And Sherry says that doesn't sound much different than how you eat now, Dustin. No, it doesn't. It very sounds similar. I got 22Q Cat. Hey,
Lynn is in
22Q
the
Cat.
house.
Hey, Lynn. Hey, Lynn. Let's see. Do we have anybody else? Primitive Farm Mom. Welcome. So glad you're here. And Tanya Taylor is here. And I think that we have said hello to everyone. Thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. We're hearing about Dustin's story. All right. So talk about why. So you said that you had started out with an Instagram channel. And then you, I guess when YouTube became a thing, you started KetoSimple.
My Instagram was KetoSimple.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started. I had Twitter and Instagram that were both KetoSimple. Really came out of like, I mean, I'm lazy, so like I want things to be easy and streamlined and efficient and simple. So I mean, that's really, I mean, it really probably wasn't even that much thought into it. I was like, KetoSimple makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And then I did that, and I did that for a couple of years. I even did a meetup, like a Instagram meetup at one point, because
Nice.
we have a local pizza place here that does keto pizza. They have
Nice.
keto pizza, breadsticks. They have like salad bar. They have like usually like soups, the keto soups, and they have like there's one of the ladies will bring in that she makes keto desserts. And they're great. They're local. They do a lot of great charity work and stuff in the area. They've been giving out free take and bake pizzas recently for the people that need it, who are less
Oh, that's
fortunate,
awesome.
and
Mm-hmm.
all that. So I love that, and we were able to go and have a little meetup there when they first started selling the keto pizzas.
Nice.
Um, and I wanted to start a YouTube for a long time, and I didn't have the understanding of how to do it. I didn't know how to edit video. I didn't know where to start, where to begin. So what I did is a friend of mine said, "Hey, if you just record the video, I'll edit it and put it up for you."
Oh, that's nice.
So he did the first
That's
video. If you go
awesome.
back and look at the very first video from like 5-6 years ago on my channel, it's unbearable to watch. It's just awful. Like you can tell I am not good at being in the front of the camera at that point. Did that? He put it up. It sat there for a year.
Wow.
It got about 800 views in a year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything with it. And then when the pandemic hit, I was at home, and then I was let go from my job in that part of time. And then I was like, well, I'm going to start YouTube if there's ever a time to do it, because my wife was like, hey, let's not worry about getting another job right now.
Mm-hmm.
You stay home with our granddaughter, so she doesn't go to daycare. So she's with family. She's at home. You get to spend time with her. And I was like, sold.
I know
So
that's right.
it's one of the biggest blessings of my entire life. And I'm so
Yeah, it's amazing.
ecstatic. Something that amazing came out of something like losing a job, where like the uncertainty and all of that, and the channel, and not quite knowing what to do with it, not quite know what to do with the channel.
Mm-hmm.
I had the channel for about 2 years, really, before it really sparked with a community, because I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I went to my first meetup, and it was put on by Jackie, who was Jackie's Keto Journey at the time. I think it's what her channel was at the time. And she had a meetup, and then that's how I met a couple other YouTube channels. There was Dawn and Mike from Dawn Does Keto,
Mm-hmm.
um, and as I'm sitting here, my brain's going to go blank, and I can't think of their names.
No
But
worries.
but and other channels too, and I became friends with them, and then that's how I kind of found the community. And then from them, there was just the community was kind of there, and that's how I found Autumn with Autumn does keto, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how KPL came into play,
Yep.
and just kind of grew from there. And then I'm
Yeah.
just an outgoing person, so once I had a foothold, once I had kind of a foot in the door with the community, then I was just gonna kind of take it upon myself because I'm nosy and I love people, and
Yeah. That's
you can't get rid
awesome.
of me.
Well, I can tell you, I'm gonna share your channel really quick. But I can say that your channel looks absolutely amazing, very professional looking. I love it. And so yeah, if anybody's well, most of these people are here from your channel, but
I
anybody that's
believe
here
so,
from my channel that's not subscribed to Keto Simple, you should be. Really good. And what I want to say about Keto Simple is that this is like a thinking person's channel. I love it. Can I say that? Is that rude?
yeah. No, I'm flattered.
Yeah, this is a channel for a person for people who like to think about things and consider. And so, you guys go and subscribe to
Thank you.
Dustin's channel. Really, really good. Good stuff. And it looks amazing. Like, man. So that's really cool that you got a chance to stay home with your grandbaby and also bond with her like that. I mean, it's so, rare that we get an opportunity to do that for those of us who still have to go to work every day and work that day job, you know. But I have my little granddaughter here. She's 3. She just turned 3. And so she's here all the time. And so it's just great to get an opportunity to just be with them and get to know them, like hang out with them, see what they're talking about. I was making a video yesterday. I'm just going to tell this little story. I was making a video yesterday cutting up a chuck roll. Have you done that yet?
I haven't. I'm kind of curious. Like, what are you paying for chuck roll?
Ooh, it was like $5.69 a pound. It was high, in my opinion. That was more expensive than what it was like last year when I was looking at it to try to buy it
Everything's
to do
high,
the same
so
thing. It's
yeah.
high, yeah. But $5.69 a pound. And so I'm in there cutting it up. I'm making this video. And as last night, as I was reviewing the video and it's not done yet, but it's coming soon. I hear her in the background saying, I want a Happy Meal. Now, I can barely understand what this child is saying most of the time. She always has a plug in, right? And half the time, but last night on that video last night, I was like, "Oh, you want a Happy Meal?" So I just left that in. I just left that in the video. It was so cute. I was
That was like me being home with her all the time. I was the only one who could understand her
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I was the translator.
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome spending time with them and just getting to know them. So that is
And I
really
still get to do it. I drive her to school
blessing.
every day. I pick her up from school, and
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome, grandpa. They call you grandpa?
she calls me Paul
Paw, okay. My
because my
husband is
wife is
pawpaw.
Ma and I'm Paul.
Okay. I'm grandma, no grand, but just grandma, and then my husband is pawpaw. So, very cute, very cute. So let's talk about keto a little bit. Um, what are okay, so what do you wish more people understood about keto and ketosis?
Well, I think the biggest misconception of keto at this point is something drastically different from carnivore. I think that they're all really. I mean, they're the same basic same thing. You're just removing vegetables or whatever. You're reducing the carbs even further. I don't see there being much of a difference realistically because even
Mhm.
carnivore folks are going to be in ketosis. I mean,
Yes.
whether or not it's a concern, whether or not ketosis is a driving factor, ketosis is still something that happens in the body, especially if you're very, very low carb, which carnivore is going to be the lowest carb you're probably going to get.
Mhm.
With that, I mean, with lion diet, carnivore, whatever, depending on how much cheese and all that stuff you're adding in. But
Right.
um, I think that I think that we get divided. I think that we I think that we the dividedness, I think, is just human nature in general. I mean, we like to divide ourselves. We like
Yes.
to find our tribes, and we hear that
Hmm.
all the time. I found my, I mean, there's a lot of, how many carnivore communities are called a tribe?
Right. Yep.
Um, I think Dr. Barry's is a tribe, and I think isn't. I don't know if Dr. Kiltz is. I know, like, I hear the word tribe all the time when it comes to carnivore. I think carnivore, keto, and low carb in general are really, they're all in the same. I mean, the same thing like what Dr. Barry has, the proper human diet, right? And I
Yes.
think it's all considered the same. It's all the same scale, the same spectrum. Just where do you fit better in that spectrum? Do you feel satiated and satisfied and find better consistency with keto? Do you find it better with carnivore? How do
Hmm.
you find your consistency? How do you find your satiety? Because that's the
Right.
most important piece of the puzzle, is where do you find consistency? Where do you find satiety? Where do you struggle the least in maintaining your day-to-day lifestyle, right? And like, you know, and we're going to see over time, we're going to see people come in to keto carnivore. They're going to come to the community. They're going to go hard in the paint, and then they're going to give up because they may go too far one way on the spectrum over another, right? Like if we
Right.
get people who come in and they want to be this hardcore carnivore, and maybe that's not what they need to do with it, and maybe they're going to give up and go, you know what I mean? I think we just have to be a solid community and embrace everybody that comes in, and understand that this is a journey, that's not a destination. And somebody's going to come in, they may find that strict carnivore works great for the first year,
Hmm.
and then they may find that now they need to add some things back in because
Hmm.
they're missing something. Or they come in and they're all kind of willy-nilly, and then they realize that over a year they need to tighten things down and be more strict. And I think we have a tendency to judge people if they aren't carnivoring hard enough. Or I mean, even keto was very big with that, especially in the very beginning. Keep calm and keto on.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yes.
don't come in looking for permission to cheat or whatever. There was a lot of that stuff depending on what Facebook group you were in, or what Discord or whatever you were looking at.
Right.
And I want people to understand that we, in order to make the biggest impact, in order to make the biggest change it's almost said satiety and society, we have to embrace everybody, and we have to be there no matter what. Whether they're doing the laziest, dirtiest of keto, whether they're doing just whole food, single ingredient foods and having potatoes and rice. They're
Hmm.
having meat with rice and vegetables, but they're keeping carbs relatively low or whatever, you know what I mean? We have to understand that all of that plays a role in getting the earth back to, humanity back to health. Because
Right.
there's never going to be a time, I think, and I say things like this, and I think people kind of get upset because I say there's never going to be a time where everybody on the planet is carnivore. There's never going to be a time where everybody on the planet is doing keto or vegan or one diet or another over any of them.
Agreed. Yep. I think that I really believe that we like to be in an exclusive club.
Yes.
In a lot of different ways, not just with food. We want to exclude people out of our
We
club.
do. I mean, it happens with diet. It happens with the neighborhood you grew up in, the city you live in, the sports team, your
Yeah.
religion, all
Mhm.
these things all kind of, and I see, and with identity politics and things that are coming through, we're dividing and subdividing ourselves in these super small little buckets. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's healthy for us. I think we need community. We need broad community because if you are getting to a super small subset, if something happens to you that's different from everybody else, you're not going to get the answers you need. Maybe they may not have the experience, the perspective that you need. That's where having a giant open community of people, like, not everybody is going to be a man who was over 400 pounds with extreme, food addiction and dealt with, the things the way that I did. Or there may not be a woman who is, having all these issues, who may not have been overweight, but they've got PCOS or they've got whatever. Like, there's all these people that are going to come into these communities for different reasons.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we're not pushing them away because they're not doing it exactly the way we think they should be doing it.
Right. I'm of the opinion that experimentation is, each person should be doing their own experimentation to determine what works best for them. And, not everybody's going to end up doing the same exact thing. But what I will say is that we don't want to let the food control us. You know what I mean? We want to be we want to be thinking people and not letting the food. You talk about food addiction, and to me, coming from a history of addiction, I'm like, the only cure for addiction is abstinence. So if I'm addicted to something, then I need to abstain from that thing in order to be better, to be well. And so sometimes these things come into play when you think about food and the choices people make around food and those kinds of things. It may be, less of a choice and more of a, food addiction type, or because if we think about the food, right, the quote, I'm going to call it food with quotes because it's so designed to be highly, highly addictive. And so that can be a huge problem as well.
Because the problem is we can't just not eat.
Right.
No matter how bad your food addiction is, you have to eat something.
You got to eat something. Yeah.
You have to eat something. And figuring out what combination fits you best that sustains you, helps you find satiety, helps you find your consistency without making life harder and bringing back all those. I hate to use the word cravings because I think cravings is one of those words that gets a bad rap because we have cravings a lot of, humans have built-in cravings for a reason. It tells us because there are cravings that tell us exactly what we need.
Yes.
And then there's going to be cravings that come in and try to get us to eat things we know we shouldn't have. But they're cravings nonetheless. Like, when you're craving salt or you're craving whatever the case is. I think,
liver. I crave that
liver
sometimes.
or whatever the case is, right? We have to be very mindful, I think, with the terminology that we use. We have to be, we have to be not just mindful, but we have to be, careful and deliberate in our language. I think too often we just blanket statement things. And I think some of the blanket statements that get thrown around within our community can scare off people who may be kind of skirting around the edges, sniffing around the edges, trying to see, is this going to be something that they may be interested in? And we see, and I mean, it could be as simple as, somebody going, well, plants are trying to kill you. Plants are poison, as a blanket statement for everybody. And then somebody may hear that and go, well, that sounds absolutely insane. These people are crazy. They're like the sharks. I'm out.
Right. Yep. I totally agree. We need to be conscious about what it is that we're saying, because that it can be a deterrent for people. And that can be a challenge.
Even something like seeing Dr. Kiltz eat a raw steak on a live, that could be like, what is that guy's insane? Why is he eating a raw steak?
Right.
To me, I'm like, okay, he's eating a raw steak, not how I want to do it, but it doesn't bother me. But I look at that also from another lens going, if somebody is like tuning in for the first time going, well, this carnivore guy, he's a doctor. Let's see Dr. Kiltz. Let's see what he's up to. And he's sitting there chomping down on a raw steak.
Right.
Without context. And if you are coming from a completely sad, standard American diet perspective, you see that and you think, well, steak has to be cooked to 165 degrees, otherwise it's not safe.
Right.
You're going to think that man is out of his flipping mind.
Absolutely. Yep. And I think that's the key. Like when you talk about the big tent and, room for everybody in here, there's going to be somebody that maybe will resonate with you better than another person. Right. And so hopefully you will find somebody that's telling you something that you can actually receive.
Yeah. Because the average carnivore, the average person in our community is not eating raw steak every day.
That's true. I'm never eating raw steak.
That's the outlier. That's the exception, not the rule. I've eaten raw meat. I've had raw burger. I mean, it's fine.
I've had it, but that's not my favorite.
No, I like heat. We added heat a million years ago, and I was cool with that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So we're almost out of time, but I do want to make sure that we say hi to everybody. So Brian's Silver Health Quest is here. He said he just arrived. That's been a while ago. We have a question and a comment here. So let me pop this up here. So Charlie wants to know, do you take any supplements on keto?
I had a regimen for a while where I was taking an electrolytes, both like drinkable, like whether it was salty or whatever I have in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also taking them in a supplement form as well, like taking extra. I have a magnesium supplement that I was taking that was 5 or 10 different types of magnesium. So I was getting like a gamut of magnesium, and then taking some extra potassium. And then I have some of the primal, the primal beef organ stuff that I was trying out. I bought 2 bottles of that for the wife and I to try. So we were adding that into there. Especially right now, probably be adding in some vitamin D into our regimen because we're getting less sun and we're outside less and it's just dark and just need the vitamin D, I think. Whether or not it'll help me or not, I'm going to take it anyway.
Okay.
So, I mean, really, just being deliberate on that front as well. Trying not to take something that's not necessary, but trying to be proactive as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for answering that question. We also have A Mason 3Y3I is here. Hey, A Mason, thank you for being here. And then T Lewis is here as well. Matt Franklin 1990 is also here. So you got time for a speed round?
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to ask the question. You just tell us the answer. What's your favorite cut of meat?
I like New York strip.
Okay. Ooh, I want to ask more, but there's a speed round. Okay. Do you drink coffee? If so, what's your coffee setup?
I do drink coffee. Current setup is a kettle to boil the water. We're using Nescafe instant espresso. We were an espresso family for a long time, but our machines die too fast, so we stopped buying them because they're expensive. And so now we use a kettle instant espresso. It actually tastes better to us. And I add some butter, some heavy cream, and it's really, again, streamlined, simple, nothing fancy. But they keep raising the price on it, so I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like we started buying it, it was like $6. Now it's like $10.
I hear ya. Everything's up. Okay, what's one keto myth you would erase forever?
Oh my goodness. The cholesterol part of it, like the high cholesterol myth, like cholesterol is going to clog your arteries if you eat too much meat.
Somebody said, "Do you drink coffee?" Made me laugh out loud.
Sherry comes to my Sunday morning coffees lives every Sunday.
I've been there. I should know the answer to the question. Oh my gosh. Okay. The heart, the cholesterol heart health hypothesis, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah,
Mhm. Yep, that's a good one. Okay, what's a keto mistake you made early on?
overcomplicating everything.
Mhm. Very good. All right, what is a ridiculous comment you've heard about keto?
Oh, that it's hard to stick to, that it's hard, that it's unsustainable.
Mhm. Yes, that's true. And then one thing you used to believe that you no longer do.
I was a very big keto zealot at one point in time. I was one of the people that was everybody needs to do keto, but
Mm.
now I'm more of the idea of the spectrum as we talked about, whether it's whole just single ingredient whole foods all the way to line diet, wherever you need to be, wherever your body takes you.
Amen to that. All right, so we're getting ready to wrap it up. I do want to let you answer this question. Um, and then let us know where else people can find you. So we took a look at your channel. So one thing that you want people to understand about keto, and then you can also follow up with where people can find you.
Yeah, just understanding that keto really is, for all intents and purposes, just whole foods, low carb, whole foods. It shouldn't be more complicated than that. I think there's a stigma with keto that that can probably go away. There's a stigma. I mean, that's what people have backed away from keto. They're changing their channel names and whatever. I just think realistically, keto is just same thing with carnivore. It's just single ingredient whole foods, whether or not you're adding plants to it or not. I think, just meat, fat, plants a little bit if you want some, and then, coffee or whatever you want. I think it's just it needs to be uncomplicated.
Completely agree. Absolutely. Yep. I mean, keto works. It works for a lot of people. It's a great way to go. It's definitely, I mean, it's ketogenic. That's the key. I think that's the key. All right. Where can people find you besides
I'm
on
all over the
YouTube?
place. I'm on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I'm on Threads, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. The only difference with TikTok is it's KetoSimple underscore at KetoSimple underscore. I did have KetoSimple at one point, but my phone messed up and I could never log back into KetoSimple. So I
Oh
did.
no.
So yeah, that's where I'm at on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, YouTube at KetoSimple. I'm on Rumble at KetoSimple. Anywhere you want to be, I'm there at KetoSimple for the most part.
All
And
right,
you
you
can go to
guys.
ketosimple.shop and find just about everything you need to know about me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Dustin, for being with me tonight. I really do appreciate you, and I appreciate all that you do out here. Like I said, I really think of your channel as a thinking person's channel, and I love that. You're always getting into the science of things, and it's really, really awesome. Again, my name is Robyn Heron, and I'm your carnivorous grandma. I do have a website. You guys can check me out. Let me know if you want help with coaching services. It's CarnivorousGrama.com. And I'll be back on Saturday night with North Dakota, North Dakota Carnivore Lance. I think it's North
Lance,
Dakota.
I know
Yes.
him.
Saturday night at 5:30, Lance is going to be here with me. So I hope to see you there. All right, you guys, we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.